and welcome back to Break Time Conversations, a YouTube channel where I have conversations around education. I have been a teacher all my life, and along my journey, I have met and I continue to meet so many interesting and inspiring people. And so I decided to document my conversations with them here so that you too can hear their stories and the amazing work that they do. I'm here today with Madhuri Prasad. She's someone I came across on LinkedIn. She's an educator, a parent mentor, a Montessori consultant, and an international speaker. And she believes that the role of home and school is to enable children to explore life without inhibition and bias. Both parents and teachers need to collaborate to shape the child's personality from the time they are an infant. Madhuri, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. Really looking forward to a great conversation with you.
Thank
Let's,
you, Anupa. Thank you for inviting me.
you're most welcome. Madhuri, let's get started by why don't you tell us how you got into doing what you do? What's your journey been like so far?
So it's interesting. I started as a software engineer. So actually, I am engineer in computer science, and I was into IT. And then I got married, and then I had a child, and I didn't want to go back into IT. Also because I was not pretty interested in coding and stuff like that. And then when my daughter turned 5, I knew that I had to do something, but I was not sure what to do. So the journey, I would say, started when actually she was 2.5, when I was school hunting for her, and I came across people talking about Montessori method, and they were saying, my daughter now only started understanding mathematic concepts like addition and subtraction, and I was like, what is this Montessori? Because I was not at all aware of this concept or this pedagogy. So I read about it, I researched about it. My first book was The Montessori Method, and everything that I was reading there, I realized, oh my God, okay, yeah, this is relatable. When I was young, this is what I did, and that is why I am. So there was a lot of reflections that made me realize that whatever I am is what I was as a child. So everything that I did, everything that I thought, and everything that was in my environment helped me shape into a person that I am. For example, I had dog fear because as a child, there was this dog, neighbor's dog, that came running onto me, jumped on me, and I was like, oh my God, I was so scared that even when I was adult, it was very difficult to be around dogs. But I think I overcame that fear because I could realize this, and now I am pretty friendly. It started because I wanted my daughter to, be comfortable with pets and animals, and I realized that I had to model it. So yeah, it helped me overcome the fear. So that's how it started, and then I did a course in Montessori, and then I just was waiting for her to grow a little, and that is when she turned 5, I joined a school. It was a very normal conventional school. I'm not going to name the school, but what I saw was a young child, a 4-year-old, was mistreated by the educator itself because the child was not able to add. He was failing to add two numbers, and to an extent that the educator started bullying the child. I was very, very, upset, and I was seeing the situation, the gap between the conventional method of education, and uh, that is when I realized that Montessori is something that we can explore. My daughter by then was already going into a Montessori school, so I thought might as well I will join, and I joined a school. Again, it was a diluted environment where children, yet a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, was bullied by the educators. And that was again kind of a shock for me. So that is when I joined the school which my daughter goes to. And I started working with children who were 15 months to 30 months. And the freedom that I started offering, I started observing them being offered to them was so beautiful, and the way they were blossoming into, an independent being, that was a revelation for me. So that is when I again furthered my knowledge by taking up further Montessori course and different educational, courses that helped me understand child development. And then, after working for 3 years, I realized that very few parents are actually understanding the importance of early childhood development. It's So you have only 14 to 15 children in a classroom environment, right? But the learning is much beyond that. So I started my own platform, Little Leaps, where I started mentoring parents and educators to help them understand the importance and how they can encourage children to become independent, to develop confidence, and reach their full potential. So, yeah, that's my journey so far.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm a Montessori trained teacher, so I totally resonate with what you're saying. And I have three children, and all three of my kids have been through Montessori schools, and I totally believe in the system. Although I'm not doing much with it now, I have to be honest, but I totally believe in the system. So that's amazing. You spoke about yourself, Madhuri, and how you were looking back, and there was so much of realization and awareness that happened when you looked back and saw yourself. That's amazing. I don't think that happens to most of us. I think that's really cool that you were able to do that. And you're so right about parents needing support, especially about early years. And I'm sure your initiative is going to really help so many parents. So tell us more about what you do exactly.
So, Little Leaps platform supports parents as well as educators. So, when I'm talking about educators, I help schools set up the environment for toddlers, and I train the educators there to understand the needs of that, age age group. As for the parents, I start from the time the baby is born. I'm also planning to start prenatal, but as of now, we are working with parents with newborns, and I am mentoring them from very young age so that every developmental milestone we are ready for a child to see, reaching their full potential. So that's what I do with the parents. Apart from that, I host multiple sessions with various educators across the globe, and most of them are Montessorians or PhD in language development or maybe child development, and these are free sessions where I invite all my parents to attend, understand the child development, understand what they need, because there is a takeaway for everybody when we are having these kind of sessions, right? So those, and then asking questions if they have any queries, they can go about it. So, and then myself take sessions for parents, workshops for parents to help them understand the basic strategy as to how to work. So, say for example, if a child is having challenges eating, or maybe a toddler or a child who's 4 years old but still in diapers. So, what are the strategies that we can work upon to help them become independent in toileting? Or what are the strategies we can work upon to make the child eat independently and become less of a fussy eater? So these kind of support we provide. Not only that, at certain developmental milestones, what kind of activities will help child reach their potential? What kind of activity is going to challenge them? Because you must have noticed many a times a young child may be doing an activity, say for example puzzle, right? So they will be doing the same puzzle, and they may be doing for that puzzle for over and over again, maybe 10 times, 20 times, sometimes even 30, 50 times, 100 times, right? But some after a point they stop. Why do they stop? And then you see that the child is doing this puzzle, so you get more puzzles, but the child is not touching the other puzzles. Why is it happening? Because the need for trying to fit those puzzles into those grids, that's over. Now they want some more challenge. right? Because the new toy may have come, the new puzzle may have come, and they are pretty comfortable doing it because they know how to do it, they know the technique. Now that is not what they want. They want something else. Probably they want to may do building blocks, or probably they want to just clean their bicycle, or they probably want to do laundry. You don't know, right? So my agenda with the parents usually is to help them understand by asking enough questions about the child, observe the child's behavior, and accordingly support how you can challenge your child so that they are always driven, not frustrated, not giving up, but driven. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. That is so important. And that's really something that we don't think of, right? We just automatically think we know everything. This is what the children need. I love that you try to see how they you can drive them more. That's amazing. Little kids are amazing. I'm sure you agree with me. And there is so much that we can learn from them. So, Madhuri, along your journey, especially since you've been working with little kids and parents and with teachers of little kids, what have you loved so far about your journey, and what has been a big challenge so far?
I think both loving and challenge is me myself. You know why? Because we keep saying that we teach the child or we direct the child. Actually, it's not true. It's the other way around. Children are the best teacher. I think when you accept this fact, when you realize it, that is when you reveal yourself. And
Hmm.
when you reveal yourself, you try to do the right things for the child to follow it. So I think with me, this is what happened. It started with my daughter because I
Hmm.
realized that she is like my mirror. If I am angry or something, and sometimes if she's frustrated, she would just reflect the same expressions, same kind of conversation, same talk, or same kind of frustration that I would be showing on her. And that is when I realized, oh, that's me. So that actually made me become calm. When I was working with children in a classroom, I observed that I think I need to be more patient because the usual tendency of parents is, oh, my child is struggling, or even for the educator, oh, the child is struggling. I think the child needs help. Even before the child coming asking for it, we jump into and try to help them. So I learned to step back, observe, and see if the child is capable, and give them that autonomy to say, I need help, come and ask for the help, right? So for that it needs a lot of patience, and that's what I learned to reflect on my own behavior. And this happened in my first year when there was this young child who would bite, hit, and kick others. And I was full of judgment for the child. Every time, every morning I am going, I am starting with this judgment in my head that this child is not going to listen to me, and this child is extremely wayward, and I have to behave in a certain way. I have to act in a certain way so that he listens to me. So I was more into this controlling mode where I was trying to, make things happen as per my expectation. After a few days I realized it's not going to work. So I started developing a bond with him,
Hmm.
and that in return worked much better than my controlling attitude towards the child. And also it helped me understand that we cannot come with prejudices when we are working with young children,
Yes.
whether at home, or because the children easily forget what happened.
Yeah.
It's very quick for them to, I mean, you may be stuck in that, the child behaved that way, or the child spilled the water, the child needs punishment, but in that moment the child might have spilled water, but the next moment the child doesn't remember anything about it. But
Yes.
we are there stuck, asking for, or maybe giving some punishment, or ready to pounce on them or scream at them. But children do not remember. So what can we do? We can only help them understand the consequences. So if the water is spilled, what we need to do, we need to go get water and mop it, right? Rather than screaming and, oh, what you did, right? Instead of that, if so, these are the things that I learned. But the challenge is again the same thing. Being patient is not at all easy. And especially with your own child, it's even worse. Trust me on that. Because the moment you see your child struggling, you feel like, how can I help my child? So yeah, it's learning every day. I feel.
Lovely. Thank you so much. I totally agree with you. I mean, I taught little kids all my life, and I was most patient with them. And when I came home, I was most impatient with my own children. So I have so loved talking to you, Madhuri. Your work is amazing, and I hope that you'll be able to reach many more parents, many more schools, many more teachers with your vision. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your journey with us. And I just wish you all the best, Madhuri.
Thank you so much. Before we end the meeting, I would like to say one quote by
Yes.
Aristotle. He had said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And I feel it's so powerful if every human being, every adult around a child understands this. I think we will have a different future for our children.
Yes, and we do need that different future. So thank you for sharing that quote with us. Thank you, Madhuri, and bye for now.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.